Hello, greetings and salutations. I just wanted to do a quick little stream here talking about what's going on, kind of an update about the US continuing to try to extradite Julian Assange to the United States for the crime of being a journalist, for exposing the crimes of the US empire, instead of the US, first under the Trump administration and then Biden, now continuing, this extradition process. Again, the US empire going after the person, the organization, WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, who have done such a great service for the people of the US, the people of the globe more broadly, for exposing things like that collateral murder video, or releasing the documents showing that the higher ups at the OPCW, the OPCW cover-up, releasing those documents. And as a result, Julian Assange has paid a just great price for providing this information to the public. And he deserves to be freed. Biden should, pardon him. Like, it's so ridiculous and so dystopian, but not super surprising that the U.S. has continued to go after Julian Assange simply for the crime of being a journalist. And it's, probably the biggest threat to a free press and press freedom in the United States since, probably Daniel Ellsberg and the Pentagon Papers, and that was in the 70s. So let's check out, let's do a little share screen action here. And then we'll go to, let's go to Richard Medhurst. He was able to attend virtually these court hearings, I believe. So he has a nice little thread going on here of that. So we'll take a look and then discuss. Quite a long thread, as you can see. I'm just trying to scroll to the top. Tippity toppity. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Jesus. Sweet Jesus. All right, here we go. I'm attending Assange's High Court hearing remotely and will have live updates. Hearing taking place at the Royal Courts of Justice London. The U.S. is seeking to appeal UK judges, that was Barrett to Wright, decision in January not to extradite the Australian journalist and WikiLeaks founder to the U.S., having only been granted permission on 3 of 5 grounds. Today, the U.S. will seek to be granted all 5 during the preliminary hearing. Preparations underway. Amnesty International, Reporters Sans Frontiers, they were there. Wait, as these were not, okay. Today wasn't given remote access, very disappointing. Here is Jeremy Corbyn. Only he could have been prime minister, right? He's pretty damn good.
I hope the court accepts the decision of the lower court that he should not be removed to the United States.
Yeah, so again, of course, Corbyn is on the right side of history on this issue, supporting Julian Assange, not wanting him to be extradited to the U.S.
My view is that he should be released. His health is clearly at risk while he's in Belmarsh. It'd be at worse risk if he was in a supermax prison in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
He's a man that has actually done the whole world very good service.
For sure.
Some of our newspapers recognised, like The Guardian, in the earliest stages of this. So I say to the journalists that are here, the British journalists that are here, I have plenty of issues with the way the media report things in this country. I have good reason to have complaints about the way the media treat individuals in this country. But I hold no business. What I recognise is that journalism is a very dangerous and risky profession when done properly. I think of journalists in Mexico, in Colombia, in India. I think of journalists in many countries, in Egypt and many other places, that have risked all to tell the truth about corruption, risked all.
Like what Julian Assange has, and he's paid such an enormous price and continues to.
Until the rest of the world knows the truth of what's been done in their name. Julian Assange, to me, walks in that great tradition of great, fearless journalists. We're here to support Julian Assange and demand his freedom. And we'll be here as many times as it takes to continue making that call.
Good. Kudos to Corbyn being out there. Not super surprising that he is. There's Julian Assange's partner, father of his 2 children, Stella Morris.
The case against the US government 7 months ago, yet he remains in Belmarsh prison. What is this, if not punishment by process? Yesterday, Julian and I were permitted to embrace for the first time in 17 months.
Jesus, man.
Throughout my visit in Belmarsh, I held his warm hand. Julian has been denied the love and affection of his family for so long. Julian and the kids will never get this time back. This shouldn't be happening.
Agreed. It's disgusting that it is.
The US government is exploiting the inherently unfair arrangement between the US and the UK. They're exploiting the inherently unfair extradition arrangements with this country in order to arbitrarily prolong his imprisonment. The imprisonment of an innocent man accused of practicing journalism.
Yeah, right.
Julian has asked me to thank all of you for coming and for continuing to fight for his freedom. Thank you.
Man, I mean, just Julian has paid such a huge price. His partner, their children. The court begins. Assange appears in the screen. He was expected to attend in person, but being beamed video. The court is currently dealing with point C on one of the 2 grounds which the U.S. was refused permission to appeal on. The prosecution is alleging that Michael Koppelman allegedly misled Judge Beretzer on Assange's psychiatric illness. Okay. Prosecution is unhappy that Judge Beretzer relied on the defense's medical expert witness as opposed to theirs. They're insisting Judge Beretzer should have pressed Koppelman on why he was willing to mislead her. Judge Beretzer in a January ruling wrote, "I preferred the expert opinions of Professor Koppelman and Dr. Dealey to those of Dr. Blackwood. Dr. Blackwood did not accept Professor Koppelman. Diagnosis severe depression episode with psychotic features." I had the DSM in front of me. I could actually show what that is exactly. Very long thread, Richard. Thank you for this. Gerald, prosecution, so I believe that's a lawyer for Assange. Prosecution is taking things out of context, and judge was in best position to judge whether Koppelman was impartial or not. That was the medical expert, psychiatric expert who testified on Assange's behalf previously. Jesus. Very long thread. Fitzgerald, judge's primary decision maker, as appointed by Parliament. She scrupulously applied the test laid down, went through each of the criteria. Clear evidence of mental disorder. Kopelman found depression. Delaney found depression and Asperger's. Dr. Blackwood did not address his potential confinement in U.S. and possibility he could be held in isolation. The judge accepted this might increase the risk of suicide. Again, how could it not increase the risk of suicide being held in isolation, maximum security prison, etc.? Jesus, this is a lot to go through, though. Just to recap, Lord Justice Holyrood is going through the, just that's kind of weird, right? Lord, listing charges against Assange, the 5 grounds. My judgment, Professor Kopelman's decision to conceal their and there we go. Breaking Lord Justice Holyrood rules in favor of the U.S., granting leave to appeal on grounds C and D, RE psychiatric evidence. Assange High Court full appeal to be heard on October 27th and 28th. Damn. Very grateful for your submissions. He said his situation when he chose instead to admit, stating he knew of their conclusion. This means in October, the U.S. will be able to appeal on all 5 grounds, putting into question the key medical evidence on his psychiatric well-being, heightened risk of suicide if extradited to the U.S., all on a technicality for this Professor Kopelman not sharing, I guess, the relationship between Stella Morris and Julian Assange. Like, Jesus. Pretty fucked up. Nice work there, Richard. Doing the Lord's work, really. Super, super important stuff. And then here is Got Stola. He was also attending virtually. End of October. U.S. has prevailed in this first hearing, and it seems will have an even wider ambit to challenge the district judge's decision against extraditing Assange, including by questioning facts that were weighed by the judge. Related to the neuropsychiatrist that was at Professor Kopelman and risk of suicide were previously rejected. Jesus, man. Not good. Not good news, right? Not good news. I mean, again, this is the same shit Trump was trying to do, extradite Julian Assange to the United States, and the Biden administration has continued in that. Another, area where Biden, Trump, like that, same thing with, ratcheting up tensions with Cuba, Venezuela, Iran, going after whistleblowers like Daniel Hale, continuing to try to persecute Julian Assange for the crime of being a journalist. And then so the high court will hear in October, it sounds like, what's going to happen, if they're going to rule that he could be potentially extradited to the U.S. Deeply, deeply disturbing. And again, all Julian Assange and WikiLeaks are guilty of is exposing the crimes of the U.S. empire and other countries around the world. But I mean, so here, just for reference, let's take a look at some of the stuff that WikiLeaks has on their site right now. Amazon, arms deals, U.S. Embassy shopping list, Pope's orders, Tolerance Network, OPCW, war and military. Here we go. Look, I mean, this is the shit. This is why the United States has went after him so hard. And the collateral murder video, military addiction, Afghan war logs. Was that, I believe that was from Chelsea Manning, right? If I'm not mistaken. Guantanamo files. Detainees policies. I mean, Jesus, like, super, super important stuff. Really important to know that the U.S. is literally committing murder against journalists. This was back in 2010. I mean, they've been doing this fucking shit. I mean, for God's sakes, if you're not standing up and speaking out against the U.S. war on Julian Assange and WikiLeaks, like, what are you doing with your time? Seriously. And not super surprising that this has continued under the Biden administration, but still deeply, deeply disgusting and fucked up on every level that it has continued. Because again, only thing that WikiLeaks, Julian Assange are guilty of is being a great service to humanity and letting us know all these fucked up things that the U.S. government and other governments around the world have been doing, I mean, so this is, I mean, it's pretty funny. This is a U.S. Embassy shopping list. See what they're buying in Iraq. Cover letter, cancellation notice, cover letter. I mean, just a really treasure trove place of information, and what a great service they have been serving people of the U.S. And the world for quite some time, at this point. anyways, just wanted to do a quick stream and jump on, give a little bit of update what's going on with Julian Assange. And shit, man, we just fucking hope that next court case goes in Assange's goes his way that time, and don't have any more setbacks, because he gets extradited to the US and is able to be charged in US courts for this. That's going to be obviously deeply, deeply horrible for him as a person, for his family, but also on the larger journalistic reporting, in the US and abroad, because it's going to have a huge chilling, factor. That's why the US is trying to make such an example of Julian Assange, because they know if they can go after Julian, persecute him, make his life hell, extradite him, get him to the US, charge him with all these crimes, sentence him to, die by being in prison for, the rest of his life. That's going to have a chilling effect on journalists in the future who might maybe think twice about exposing the crimes of the US, because they were able to see how Julian Assange was treated. So really, really messed up. But I don't know. Just, I guess, hope the next court case goes his way, or if there's some way to push the Biden administration on this. I don't have a whole lot of hope for that, unfortunately, but not good news. Unfortunately, not good news. Peace. Much love.